In the post-pandemic recent past, many central banks worldwide had carried interest ability to counterpart rising consumer price by monetary policy means. ये ठीक है. With a reference to Indian economy, consider the following statement: if the inflation is too high, Reserve Bank of India likely to pay गलत. If rupees is rapidly depreciating, RBI likely to sell dollar in market. बिल्कुल करेक्ट है. If interest rate in USA or European Union were fall, that likely to induce RBI dollar. समझ में नहीं आया भाई. हो सकता है भाई, सस्ते में मिले ले लो. भी है क्या? With reference to Indian economy, demand pull inflation caused by increase. In India, which of the following is responsible for maintaining price stability, controlling रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया? यार कितना आसान क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है. 23 में भी पूछ रहा है, 22 में भी पूछ रहा है, 21 में भी पूछ रहा है. देन 22 में 2 क्वेश्चन है, बताओ. फिर लोग बोलते हैं यूपीएससी मुश्किल है. चुम्मी कर लो लोगों के मुँह पे. बेसिकली द क्वेश्चन इज दैट वुड बी नॉर्मली अ सेंट्रल बैंक डू फॉर कंटेन इन्फ्लेशन इन द पोस्ट पैंडेमिक पीरियड. Economies across the world saw high inflation as various factors such as supply chain constraint, lockdown had already raised the price. The answer it would be raise interest rates so that demand for credit come down and hence inflation controlled. Statement 2 is logical. Central bank do their job of monetary policy regulation because naturally they believe they can do something about inflation. Hence, this is statement only tell what central bank do, and it goes with logic. Statement 1. ठीक है. Explanation. From late 2021, central bank began raising interest rate to combat inflation driven for post-pandemic supply constraint and surging energy price due to Russia-Ukraine war. To manage this inflation, central bank like USA, Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, and Bank of England implemented rate hikes, making borrowing more expensive to slow down economic activity, reduce price pressure. As a monetary policy tool, central bank use tools such as the benchmark interest rate, open market operation, reserve requirement to influence economic activity and maintain price stability. Interest rate and inflation. Increasing interest rate reduce money supply, decrease consumer and business spending, and ultimate lower inflation. Conversely, lower interest rate can stimulate spending and investment, potentially increase inflation. Assumption of central bank assume they can manage inflation through this tool based on economic theories like quantum theory of money and Phillips curve. These linking money supply, interest rate and inflation. Quantum theory of money. Function of central bank. Acceptance of deposit. Accept deposit from the public in form of demand and time deposit. कमर्शियल बैंक के हैं ये, कमर्शियल बैंक के सॉरी. प्रोवाइड लोन एंड एडवांस. द लार्ज पोर्शन ऑफ डिपॉजिट ऑफ lending टू बिजनेस एंड इंडिविजुअल. मेन टाइप्स ऑफ लोन: कैश क्रेडिट, डिमांड लोन्स एंड टर्म लोन्स. अर्न इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन विच मेन सोर्स ऑफ इनकम. क्रेडिट क्रिएशन: बैंक कीप a fraction of total deposit as a reserve, lend the rest, thereby creating a multiplier effect on money supply. For example, CRR is 20%, deposit 1000 can result money creation of 5,000 rupees. Agency function: transferring money, paying bill, collecting checks, facilitating payment. Offer demand deposit and check facility. Payment can be made directly from one account to another. Link between saver and borrower. Mediate between surplus and deficit. Mediate between surplus and deficit. Economy agent. Accept saving and allocate fund, especially in economy. Function of central bank: currency issuer. Currency issuer: custodian of foreign exchange reserve. Banker to government. Advisor, also advisor to government भी है. Banker to bank. Commercial bank can partner with a bank. Regulatory monetary policy: money supply via tools such as CRR. Controller of credit: regulate credit stability and growth economy. Ensure credit flow to priority sector like agriculture and small industries. Maintaining price and financial stability. Maintaining price and financial stability is control inflation and ensure stability in financial markets. Supervision of bank. Bank ensure the commercial bank operate within the framework of law, periodically collect data of lending, deposit, mobilization, interest rate. Monetary policy instrument and lag effect. Monetary policy referred to the action undertaken by the Central Bank of India, Reserve Bank, RBI, to regulate the supply of money, cost of credit, overall liquidity in economy to achieve macroeconomic objective such as price stability, in output growth, and employment. Instrument of monetary policy: open market operation, buying and selling of government securities in open market to adjust the liquidity in the economy. When the central bank buy security, liquidity increase. Method: absorb. Bank rate: the interest rate at which central bank lend to commercial bank. Increasing bank rate discourage borrowing and reduce liquidity. Decrease the rate of increase borrowing, inject liquidity. Cash reserve ratio: the percentage of bank total deposit. The percentage of bank total deposit it must be hold a reserve in RBI. At higher CRR, reduce lending capacity. Lower CRR, enhance liquidity. Statutory liquidity ratio: the proportion of deposit that commercial bank must maintain in the form of approved securities. The increase SLR restrict lending activity, decrease more fund for lending. Repo rate and reverse repo rate: the rate which bank can borrow short-term funds from RBI by selling securities with an agreement to repurchase them. The rate RBI borrow from banks. These two used for short-term liquidity adjustment. Moral suasion and selective credit control. Moral suasion: restrict lending specific sector. Lag effect of monetary policy: recognition of lag, relatively short monetary indicator like inflation, credit growth. Implementation lag minimal, as RBI can immediately adjust rates and reserve without legislative approval. Impact: relatively long because this transmission through interest rate credit channel investment decision take time. Effect: real economic activity. ठीक है. Fiscal policy instrument and definition. Fiscal policy refer to the government decision regarding public expenditure, taxation and borrowing to influence economic activity, especially aggregate demand. It is direct tool to manage economic stability, redistribution of income and source of allocation. Instrument of fiscal policy: government expenditure, public spending on infrastructure, education, healthcare and social welfare, increase aggregate demand and support employment and income generation. Taxation: change in direct and indirect tax, impact disposable income, consumption and investment. Tax cut: increase demand and rate of hike reduce it. Transfer payment: Unrequired payment like subsidies, pensions, and unemployment benefit directly move to vulnerable group. Boost demand, borrowing, and deficit financing. When government expenditure exceeds revenue, borrowing or deficit financing is used to fund the gap, stimulating demand through additional public investment. Recognition short as a level for analyze financial history, implement ethics because fiscal policy requires variety of rule, legislative procedure and administrative execution. Variable depending on type of expenditure. Capital expenditure like infrastructure, long gestation or transfer payment by yield. Conceptual summaries. Monetary policy designed to implementing by central bank work through financial system mainly affecting interest rate, credit, liquidity, pressure to indirect but more flexible and reversible. Its strength lies stabilize inflation and liquidity, but it may be slow to stimulate real activity. Real activity due to transmission lag. Fiscal policy on the other hand is conducted by the government and directly influence demand through change in spending and taxation. It is immediately direct. It may target specific sector and social group, but it's constrained by political, administrative, and institutional factors, making less flexible. Generally, monetary policy is quicker tool to implement but slower effect the real economy. Fiscal policy is slower to implement but have targeted powerful impact depending types and timing of intervention.